The old house loomed, a monument to forgotten memories. It had belonged to a great aunt, a woman she barely knew. Now it was hers, a looming inheritance casting long shadows over her life. She touched the wrought iron gate, cold and unyielding. This house was a new beginning, a chance to escape the city's suffocating grasp. Little did she know it was a one-way ticket to a nightmare. She stepped inside, dust motes dancing in the faint sunlight. The air hung heavy, thick with the scent of decay and something else, something unnameable. Each footstep echoed, swallowed by the oppressive silence. This house breathed solitude, its emptiness a living presence. She explored each room, her footsteps light on the aged floorboards. The house seemed to watch her, its silence a veiled threat. This wasn't just an old house, it was a vault of secrets, waiting to be unlocked. And she, the unwitting key, was about to open a door best left closed. The house was a labyrinth of creaking wood and faded grandeur. Its windows, tall and narrow, seemed to gaze inward, reflecting only darkness. Hallways stretched endlessly, their silence broken only by the sound of her own breath. Each room whispered forgotten stories, each shadow a potential hiding place for something unseen. She ran her hand along a dusty banister, its smooth surface cold beneath her touch. A grandfather clock stood sentinel in the hall, its hands frozen in time. The house seemed to exist outside the flow of time, a place where the past lingered, refusing to let go. Days blurred into a monotonous routine, cleaning, repairing, each task an attempt to make this house her own. But the house resisted, its darkness seeping into every corner of her being. She couldn't shake the feeling of being watched, of something lurking just beyond her vision. Weeks melted into months, the restoration slow and painstaking. She replaced shattered window panes, their glass eyes staring out at the world with a newfound clarity. Each repair peeled back another layer of the house's history, revealing glimpses of a past both beautiful and unsettling. But with each passing day, the house seemed to tighten its grip on her. She felt increasingly isolated, cut off from the world outside its walls. Time lost all meaning within these walls, days stretching and compressing with unsettling irregularity. She was a prisoner in her own restoration project, her dreams haunted by the house's oppressive presence. One evening, while stripping wallpaper in the master bedroom, she felt a difference in the wall, a slight unevenness. Curiosity piqued. She peeled back a stubborn strip, revealing a section of wall that didn't belong. It was a hidden door, concealed beneath layers of paint and time. This discovery sent a chill down her spine, a prickle of anticipation mixed with dread. The door was cold to the touch, the wood rough and unyielding. It creaked open, the sound deafening in the silent house. The air inside was stale and cold, carrying the faint scent of mildew and something else, something vaguely sweet and metallic. A single bare bulb hung from the ceiling, casting long, grotesque shadows that danced and flickered. The room was small and square, devoid of furniture except for a solitary chair placed in the center. On the chair sat a mannequin, draped in a flowing white gown. It was eerily lifelike, its porcelain face frozen in a serene expression. Its eyes, two black pits, seemed to follow her every move. She approached cautiously, each step echoing in the oppressive silence. As she drew closer, she noticed a large, ornate mirror leaning against the wall behind the mannequin. Its surface was clouded with age, but she could still make out her reflection, distorted and elongated. Her heart pounded against her ribs, a drumbeat of fear in the suffocating silence. She couldn't shake the feeling that the mannequin was watching her, its painted eyes boring into her soul. The room felt wrong, a pocket of stillness in the already unnerving silence of the house. Time seemed to warp within its walls, minutes stretching into an eternity. She found herself drawn back to the room, inexplicably fascinated by the unsettling tableau. The mirror, too, held a strange allure. Its reflection was never quite right, twisting her features into grotesque parodies. She began noticing changes in her own appearance, a subtle gauntness to her face, a darkness under her eyes. The house was working its way into her, its isolation seeping into her very being. The nights were the worst. The silence was absolute, broken only by the creaking of the old house. She would lie awake in bed, her mind conjuring images of the mannequin, its serene face now contorted into a horrifying grin. She felt a presence in the house, something cold and malevolent, watching her from the shadows. Days turned to weeks, each one blurring into the next. She became increasingly withdrawn, her life revolving around the house and the strange room hidden within. The mannequin became an obsession. She would spend hours sitting in its presence, talking to it, confessing her deepest fears and desires. Her reflection in the mirror grew stranger, more distant. Her features seemed to shift and change, her eyes taking on a hollow, haunted quality. The line between reality and delusion began to blur. She couldn't shake the feeling that she was losing herself, her identity dissolving into the shadows of the house. One evening, she noticed something different about the mannequin. Its hand, once resting limply in its lap, was now positioned slightly differently, its fingers curled into a loose fist. Panic seized her. This was madness. Impossible. Yet she couldn't deny what she was seeing. The house was no longer content with simply watching. It was toying with her, unraveling her sanity thread by thread. The line between reality and nightmare had vanished. She was living in a waking nightmare. The house her tormentor. The mannequin continued to change, its movements subtle but undeniable. Its head was tilted at a new angle, its lips parted in a silent scream. Driven to the edge, she made a decision. She would destroy the mirror, break the hold the house had over her. Grasping a heavy candlestick, she raised it above her head, her reflection leering back at her, a grotesque mockery of her terror. With a scream of defiance, she brought the candlestick crashing down on the mirror's surface. The glass shattered, shards flying like daggers in the dim light. The world spun, the room dissolving into a kaleidoscope of fractured images. She stumbled, her legs giving way beneath her. As she fell, she caught a glimpse of the mannequin, its porcelain face split by a wide, triumphant grin. Then, darkness swallowed her whole. She opened her eyes, but darkness surrounded her. She tried to move, but her limbs were heavy, unresponsive. Panic swelled in her chest, choking her. She was trapped, imprisoned in an endless void. Then she heard it. A voice, soft and cold, whispering in her ear. "Welcome home," it hissed, the sound sending shivers down her non-existent spine. "You're just in time for the show." Her vision slowly returned, but it wasn't her own. She saw a dusty room, a single chair, a shattered mirror reflecting nothing but darkness. And she saw her hands, or rather what were once her hands. They were porcelain, cold and lifeless. She was the mannequin, her essence trapped within its lifeless shell. The house had claimed her identity erased, her existence a horrifying echo in the suffocating silence.